Hi, first grade, and welcome back to another math lesson. Today we are going to start My Math Chapter 7, Lesson 1, which is on tally charts. So take out your My Math workbook and you're going to turn to page 509. This is the picture you should see for Lesson 1. For today's lesson, our essential question is, how do I make and read graphs? And our objective for today is students will be able to make and read tally charts. So before we can learn to read and make tally charts, we have to understand what tally marks are. Numbers can be represented in different ways. So the number 1 can be represented as a numeral, so we can write the number 1 like this. We can also represent the number 1 in writing, so we can write out the word 1. We can also use tally marks to represent a number. So for example, for the number 1, I put 1 slash that starts from the top and goes to the bottom to represent the number 1. Let's represent the numbers 1 and 2 with tally marks. So like we learned before, the number 1 is represented with 1 dash. The number 2 is represented with 2 tally marks or 2 dashes. Let's represent the numbers 3 and 4 with tally marks. For the number 3, we can draw 3 dashes or 3 tally marks to represent the number 3. And for the number 4, we can draw 1, 2, 3, 4 tally marks. Now, to represent the number 5 using tally marks, it's a little different. To represent the number 5, we can draw a group of tally marks that have 4 tallies going up and down and 1 that goes across. This group of tally marks shows 5 tally marks. So anytime I see a group of tally marks that looks like this, I don't have to count each dash, but instead I know that this is one group of 5 tallies. Any number bigger than 5, we can use a group of 5 tallies and then count on drawing 1 tally after until we get to the number. So for number 6, I drew a group of 5 tallies and then 1 more. So I have 5, 6. For the number 7, because 7 is greater than 5, I drew a group of 5 tallies and then 6, 7. So I have 7 tally marks. For the number 8, I drew a group of 5 tallies and then 6, 7, 8. This is how you represent the number 8 using tally marks. And to represent the number 9, I drew a group of 5 tallies and then 6, 7, 8, 9. I counted on to get the number 9. This is 9 tally marks. You can pause the video and try drawing out 6, 7, 8, and 9 in tally marks. Now to represent the number 10, we can draw 2 groups of 5 tally marks. So here, when I see a group of 5 tally marks, I'm going to count by 5s. So I have 5, 10. Here I have 10 tally marks to represent the numeral 10. All right, let's begin with today's lesson. So we are on page 509, and now you'll need your pencil and eraser. And as I go through the slides, I want you to follow along and fill in the pages together. Okay, so we'll begin with explore and explain. You should see a picture of a clipboard with a chart on it. Put your finger on the picture of the clipboard. Let's look at the chart and answer the questions. Number 1, what data is represented in the chart? So let's read the title to figure out what is this chart going to tell us about. The title says, My Favorite Activities. So this chart shows the data from a survey where people were asked, what is your favorite activity? Now this chart has 3 columns. Columns go up and down. So in the first column, we have activity. The activity is the choices or the responses that the people gave. So someone could say, my favorite activity is to run, my favorite activity is to dance, or my favorite activity is to play outside. Now, next to each one of the choices, we have tallies. Now, these tallies represent how many people chose this activity as their favorite activity. So we can count the tallies to figure out the total. One tally counts as one vote from one person. Let's count the tallies to figure out how many people like to run, how many people like to dance, and how many people play outside. For run, I see 1, 2 tallies, so I can say 2 people like to run. For dance, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 tallies, so I can say 4 people like to dance. Now count with me to figure out how many people like to play outside. I see 1, 2, 3 tallies. Now you can fill in the chart to show the total number of people that like to run, the total number of people that like to dance, and the total number of people that like to play outside. And answer the questions, how many more people like to dance than run? And what subtraction number sentence can we use to solve this? Well, let's see. How many more people like to dance than run? This question asks us to compare. So I have to take a look and see how many people like to dance. To read a tally chart, I always have to read across. So next to the activity dance, I have 4 tallies, or a total of 4 people that like to dance. And next to the activity run, I have 2 tallies, or total of 2 people that like to run. I can compare these two numbers and see that there's 2 extra tally marks under dance than there is to run. So 2 more people like to dance than run. I could also use a number sentence to solve this problem. I can say 4 people minus 2 people equals 2 more people that like to dance than run. If you have not yet, fill in this chart before we move on to the next page. Once you're ready, turn to the next page. Okay. Put your finger on See and Show at the top of the page. A tally chart shows a mark for each vote in a survey. A survey asks people the same question. So 1 tally mark means 1 vote, and a group of 5 tally marks means 5 votes. The title of this chart is Favorite Vegetables. A survey was conducted asking people, what is your favorite vegetable? And the answers were carrot, peas, and corn. So for carrots, I see 1, 2, 3 tally marks. That means 3 total people. Next to peas, I see 1, 2 tally marks. That means 2 people. And next to corn, or here it goes, we see those group of 5 tally marks. So we're going to count on to figure out how many total people like corn. Here I have 5. Here I have 5, 6, 7. So 7 total people said corn is their favorite vegetable. Now we are going to take the information that we learned to create our own tally chart. Now, pretend we took a survey for our own class. We asked, what is your favorite subject? And we asked that question to 10 students in our class. Here's the data we collected. When we asked the question, Brenda, Carmela, and Brandon said math is their favorite subject. Leslie, Gretjan, Samir, and Roxy said reading is their favorite subject. And Ested and Louise said science is their favorite subject. So we are going to fill in the tally chart on this page to show the data that we collected. Now let's take a look at the chart on this page. The chart on this page has the title favorite subject because we asked the question, what is your favorite subject? And we have 3 columns. In this column, we have the subjects that people chose: math, reading, and science. In this column, we are going to put a tally for each vote. And in this column, we are going to write the total. So for math, I'm going to put a tally for each person that said math is their favorite subject. So I will put one tally for Brenda, one tally for Carmela, and one tally for Brandon. I have 1, 2, 3 people that said math is their favorite subject. Let's put a tally for each person that said reading is their favorite subject. So I will put a tally for Leslie, Grejan, Samir, and Roxy. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 people that said reading is their favorite subject. And let's see how many people said science is their favorite subject. I will put one tally for Ested and one tally for Louise. That's 1, 2 people said science is their favorite subject. Now let's answer the question. Use the tally chart. How many people chose each subject? All right, if you have not filled in the tally chart yet, you can take a moment and fill it in. Pause the video, and when you're finished, we're going to go on to the next page. Now we are going to skip On My Own, page 511, and go on to the next page. And then when we're finished with this lesson, you'll go back and finish On My Own by yourself. Now let's turn to page 512, and we are going to do problem number 11 together. Problem number 11 says, circle the tally chart that shows 2 students like crackers, 6 students like bananas, and 4 students like carrots. So one of these tally charts shows that information, and the other tally chart might show different information. We have to figure out which tally chart matches the data that was collected. So let's see. The title of both tally charts is Favorite Snack. Now in one column I have the favorite snacks, and the other column I have a tally for each vote. Now let's see, which one of these tally charts do you think shows 2 people that liked crackers, 6 people that like bananas, and 4 people that like carrots? Pause the video and circle the tally chart you think is correct, and then play the video to find out the answer. All right, so this tally chart here on the left shows the data we described. This tally chart shows that there's 2 students that like crackers, 5, 6, a total of 6 students that like bananas, and 1, 2, 3, 4 students that like carrots. So this tally chart matches our data. If I look at the tally chart on the right, how many students like crackers? 1, 2, 3, 4 students like crackers. 2 students like bananas, and I have 5, 6, a total of 6 students that liked carrots. So this tally chart didn't show the correct information. All right, now let's move on to our hot problem. Follow along as I read the problem out loud. Put your finger on the first word. The first word says Samantha. Samantha is having a pizza party. She asks her guests to pick their favorite kind of pizza. Which kind does she order? Explain. All right, well, let's take a look at the tally chart on the side. Put your finger on the tally chart and follow along. The title of our tally chart is Favorite Pizza Topping. In the first column, we have the topping choices: cheese, pepperoni, and sausage. In the second column, we have tallies to represent how many people chose that topping. And in the third column, we have a number to represent the total tally marks. So let's see, how many people chose cheese as their favorite topping? Well, if I look at the total, I have 7 people that chose cheese, 3 people that chose pepperoni, and 2 people that chose sausage. Well, which topping do you think she orders based on the data she collected? To solve this problem, I want you to think about which topping had the most votes or which topping had the most tallies. Pause the video and answer the question, and then play the video to see my answer. I said she orders cheese since most guests like cheese pizza. If I take a look at the number of tallies under cheese, I have 7 tallies. That's way more than the 3 tallies for pepperoni, and that's way more than the 2 tallies for sausage. So I came to the conclusion that she would order cheese pizza because most of her guests like cheese pizza. Great job following along so far. So now you are going to go back and complete on my own page 511 by yourself. You're going to look at the tally chart on this page and answer questions number 4 through 10. So great job following along, and don't forget to finish on my own page 511 and your homework for this lesson, which is pages 513 and 514. All right, I will see you tomorrow for lesson number 2.